associated with being first black firefighters. Don't want to talk about beds, don't want to talk about food, don't want to talk about fights. What did it do to you internally?
Internally, as I told you earlier, my underlying desire was to be chief. And it was hopeless to think that here I am, a firefighter, working under segregated conditions, thinking of trying to be the chief of the department. I mean, that I had to put it out of my mind, but it was always back underlined in my, under everything I did. But the main thing I remember, it was a psychological thing on us. All the officers, like I said, were given the opportunity to be promoted just to work with us. So the officers that we had in training became our officers when we arrived here in the fire station. We had Lieutenant Black was training us. When we finished school and became firefighters, he was Captain Black. He was our captain. You had drivers, Atkinson and Manning, and all these guys were all appointed to drivers just to work with us. You had white extra drivers, you had white drivers, lieutenants, captains, and that's as far as we went in the station. And then all the firefighters, we had 8 firefighters, all black on each shift. We had 2 shifts at the time.
Now, when we talk about the promotions, you guys had to form a group to get lieutenants approved because they told you it was going to take 15 years before they make anybody black lieutenant?
Well, what actually happened, and the test was given in 1969, but prior to 1969, the fire department was working 72 hours a week. So in 1966, the white firefighters came to all of us and asked us, you guys, they realized a point that they wanted to go out on strike. That was the first time the fire department had ever unionized. And so we all had the same need, and that's the reason why we joined them, because at that time, the black council member, what they would call alderman at that time, it was Q.B. Williamson, came to us and asked us to stay on the fire department if the white firefighters go out on strike. And because at that time, we were in a number of about 48 or close to 50 firefighters, black firefighters. And we told him we couldn't do that. He said, this is our job, and we have to work with these guys, and we need to raise in the short hours ourselves, So he was disappointed, but he went back and told the mayor. So we all went out on strike, black and white, in 1966, and we were all fired. And so the first time we went out on strike, we stayed out, I'm not sure, maybe a week or so, and then we returned thinking that we had everything we were asking for. And the mayor agreed to give us everything, but he wanted us to not go out on strike. So we went out on strike again for whatever reason. I was not in the echelon at that time to know all the reasons, but we were in support of everybody. And so we went out on strike a second time. That's when we got fired permanently. And the mayor made all of us come back once he gave everything that we were asking for. We were asking for short hours, a 3-step pay raise, and then we got all of that with one condition. We had to come back and raise our hand that we would never strike again, and promise that they'd never strike again, and sign a sheet that we had done that. And I remember, I never forget, I had to stand before the fire chief and raise my hand and promise that I would not strike again. Each one of us did that.
So how did we get to black lieutenants? Give me a 2-minute
one. Well, the black lieutenants came about when I mentioned earlier that 1969 was the first test that was given that we were able to participate in. And all of us failed. I said, all blacks failed the test. No black passed the test, therefore we can't promote any black.
But that was a lie, wasn't it?
Well, yes, It was a big lie. The problem was we were never given another test for a long, that 1969 test lasts for the next 10 years. And that was the idea, was not to promote us over a 10-year period. But